There have never been as many people on Earth as there are now. By comparison, at the beginning of the 20th century, there were just under a billion of us, and now there are 8. What is in store for humanity 100 years from now? We can be congratulated because we can observe a unique period of time in the history of mankind, when the population of the planet is growing rapidly. Back in 1800, there were 1 billion people on the planet. In 1955, there were 3 billion. And by 2024, there will be 8 billion. This indicates an incredible rate of growth. But why is this happening? The countries with the highest fertility rates tend to be the countries with the lowest per capita incomes. Therefore, over time, global population growth has become increasingly concentrated in the world's poorest countries, most of which are in Africa, where the people living there have many children to help them earn money and survive. In 1972, a report was written about the limits of population growth, and it was written that 8 billion was the limit that our planet could sustain. But I think everybody realizes that this is not true, because the population of the planet is already over 8 billion. But what about the most populated countries in the world? It is no secret that China and India are the most populated countries in the world. People living in these two countries make up almost 18% of the world's population, and at the moment India has surpassed China by 15 million people. This means that India is the country with the largest population. But I suggest we go back in time a bit. Families used to have 3 to 5 children, of whom only 2 survived, all because of poor nutrition, medicine, and total unsanitary conditions. Suddenly Britain had an industrial revolution. The number of products produced increased many times over, which led to a decrease in their cost, and goods became more affordable. New roads and canals were built to transport goods. Many new inventions were created, which had a positive effect on improving medicine, industry, and life. Thanks to improvements in food and medicine, mortality gradually began to decline. People began to have fewer children, as not many had a chance to survive before. But as living standards improved, child mortality decreased significantly, which eventually led to a balance between mortality and fertility, and the transition of society from high birth rate and high mortality to low birth rate and low mortality. But what will happen in 100 years? Scientists predict that the population will reach almost 10 billion by 2050 and 10.5 by 2100. With a gradual decline in the 60s. The main increase until 2050 will be in Africa, where people are born much more than on any other continent. And in Europe, the opposite trend will be observed, where in most countries the population will decrease by 10%. But should we be afraid of overpopulation? Probably not. After all, when we talk about overpopulation, we first of all think that there are simply not enough resources on our planet to provide for all of us. Mankind is getting out of this situation, and we are witnesses to it. The production of plant and protein foods is increasing. We consume more per capita now than we did a century ago, despite the fact that there are even more of us. But if we cope with nutrition, then when it comes to fresh water, anxiety arises. If you like this video, put a like and subscribe to the channel. And as always, pump your brains. See you in the next video.